Hello all of you, this is Shivangi Agarwal from Balaji Educare, and today we'll be doing the next financial function, which is NPV. For example, you are investing in a project. There is an initial outgo that you are making. I'm investing, let's say suppose 10 lakhs in a project. Every month or every year or every quarter, I will be receiving some investment return, right? After a few years, I need to calculate what is my NPV, which is the net present value. When I say net present value, it basically means that what is the present value of all the inflows minus present value of all the outflows. That gives you the net present value. If you all remember, we have already done the PV function, which calculated the present value at time 0 of any future payments or any future repayments that you were making, or maybe any investment returns that you were earning. Now here, when we say NPV, which is the net present value, it calculates the present value of all the income minus present value of all the outgo, and it helps you decide whether you need to invest in this project as well. Now, obviously, if this NPV is positive, meaning your present value of all the inflows will be greater than the present value of all the outflows, then definitely you need to you can go ahead and invest in this project. Or if it's negative, which basically means that present value of all the income that you are receiving is less than the present value of all the outflows, and hence you have a negative NPV over here, which means that you should not invest in this project. Now it depends on what interest rate, or we call this as a hurdle rate as well. I've simply written it as interest rate, but in terms of financial language, we call it hurdle rate. I want to get a return of, let's say suppose 5% from this project. Is it coming in? Is I'm earning 5% from this project? That is what a hurdle rate always means. Now here I've written the different cash flows. So I've written 50,000. I've written a negative cash flow because you have to write negative cash flows. You can have a negative cash flow somewhere in the middle as well. So negative basically means it's an outgo. Positive means it's an inflow. So this is the cash flow in year 0. This is cash flow in year 1, 2 and 3. I am making an initial investment of 50,000 in a bond. Let's suppose I'm purchasing a bond, and every year they are giving me an interest of 5,000, a coupon payment of 5,000, and finally redemption after 3 years is of 50,000 plus the coupon payment of 5,000. Now over here I have written that the payments with equal periods occurring at the end of each period. Now here we need to because this is a function in Excel, it considers a very simple assumption that all these payments is made in equal period. So basically it can be monthly, it can be yearly, it can be semi-annually. The difference, the gap between these payments have equal periods. So payment with equal periods, and we assume that it occurs at the end of each period. So when I say year 0, it's basically time 0 that we are starting with, and then all these cash flows, this 5,000 is at the end of the first year, this is at the end of the second year, and this is at the end of the third year, and the gap between the payments is equal, which is 1 year. So let's start with finding the NPV. We start by writing the function NPV and open the bracket. The first argument that it wants is the rate. So always remember the rate should be the rate per period. In our case, we are dealing annually. So this 4.5% is per annum rate. We don't have to divide this with anything else. Now again, the next one is the value 1, value 2, value 3. So these value 1, value 2, and this will go up till value 255. So you can have 255 cash flows in this particular function. These values are the cash flows, negative or positive, spread in equal intervals at the end of the interval. So I'll just select, there's a plus sign coming in. I'll just remove this. So I'll just select, drag it down. I'll just select individually because maybe this is not happening over here. So not a very, okay. This formula, this is this is this, comma, this is this, comma, this is this, and you just close the bracket. So basically what I've done, I've taken the rate of interest as 4.5%. These are the 4 cash flows. Negative cash flow stands for an outgo. Positive cash flow stands for an inflow. All the gaps between these cash flows are equal. Make sure you remember this very carefully. And once you hit enter, this is the NPV, which is the present value of all the inflows minus the present value of all the outflows. You are getting an answer of 7,234. So at the interest rate of 4.5%, you can, if you are investing in this project, you are earning an interest rate of 4.5% and the profit for the same will be 7,000. Let's suppose if I increase this amount to interest to 7%. So I'm so sorry, this has to be 7%. So let's suppose if I want an interest of 7%, a return of 7%, in that case, I am still making a profit of 3,000. So you can change your return requirement. You can check whether your NPV is positive or not. If you and this return also depends on a lot of factors like the risk taking ability that you have, the risk the project has, the different characteristics, factors of the project, and the current interest rate or the current rate of return that your company is earning. What is the rate of return or the rate of interest that is there in the economy, repo rate, and many other factors which decides this hurdle rate, on the basis of which you calculate your NPV. If it's positive, it's a profit for you. If it's a negative, it's a loss for you. Thank you.